April 5th, 2:36 p.m. Committee for Prosecutorial Excellence. Chamber. Wait, this room! Officer, isn't this... Yes, sir. This is the trial chamber of the Committee for Prosecutorial Excellence. So it's here now? I knew that they moved out of the prosecutor's building, but I had no idea that they'd come here. This is new.
Oh, Mr. Edgeworth. And Kay, too. How are you all doing? Is Kay feeling any better?
We heard there was some kind of incident. I'm sorry, but who might this be?
This is my grandma. Hold on one second. Name's Hilda Hertz, Sonny. And who the heck might you be?
It's a pleasure to meet you. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth at your service. Nurse Needler, your grandmother's name, Hertz, is she?
Yeah, she's the director of Hertz Hospital.
This old woman is the head of a hospital?
Don't you old fogey me, you dang reprobate!
How did she do that? Whoa, sounds like you're kind of a big deal, ma'am.
Oh, that's not true. Not wrong. Not wrong at all. Oh, him? He's the one looking after the girl. The one with amnesia.
It seems Dr. Hertz is a bit of an introvert.
Want me to fix those brow furrows of yours, Sonny?
Oh, there's no fixing those, ma'am. They're downright incurable.
What? You sure you want me to say that, Grandma? Well, alright then. Now, I don't got a dang thing more to say to none of y'all. You go on about your business, you hear? As long as that business don't involve messing with a deceased body. I got work to do.
Wait, please,
Not a dang thing, I tell ya!
Hey, you can't talk to us like that. What gives you the right, huh, pal?
Oh, didn't I mention? Grandma's also a coroner. She's in charge of this case, which means... Ouch! Which means exactly that.
What do you mean? Exactly what?
How am I supposed to know? She said it, not me.
Huh? It's like I'm trapped in a comedy routine I can't escape.
Well, we've got a body to be looking at. Catch you later, gang, and take care.
What the heck is their deal? What does it matter, as long as we have permission to investigate? What does it matter? It matters a bunch, sir.
What will you do now, Mr. Edgeworth?
Examine the scene of the crime, of course. What kind of prosecutor would I be if I did it? Alright, let's get to work.
That person over there is called Kay, right? Surely that means I can't be the Kay you know.
That's what we're looking to figure out. But don't worry. You're the Kay we know. I'm certain of it.
Thanks.
A Kay who lost her memory and a victim who shares her name. Both meeting their respective fates here at the big building. No doubt this case will be the key to restoring our Kay's memories. I'd stake my life on it. Begin investigation. Officer, tell me about the security arrangements for this room. Yes, sir. You need a special key card to enter, sir. Interesting. So not just anybody can enter? In which case, the person who discovered the body would have been... Yes, sir. A member of the committee. They found it when they arrived for today's hearing. The hearing? My hearing. Which would be underway right now if it wasn't for this. Yeah, I know. Now let's examine the statue of Lady Justice. It's a statue of the Goddess of Justice. You sure you don't know your stuff, sir? So, does she stole out her blessings or what? She's not that kind of goddess, detective. She's a symbol of the sanctity of the law. The scales represent justice, the sword retribution, and the blindfold shows her impartiality. I must scour the scene and inspect anything that catches my attention. There's a pool of blood here at the foot of the statue. Judging by the amount on how it was spread, I'd say this is where the victim was killed. But the body's on that table behind us, sir. How come? I can only surmise the killer must have moved it for some reason after committing the murder.
Sorry to intrude.
It's Franny!
Who are... Huh? What's that, Grandma? I'd know that voice anywhere. That's Von Karma's little girl. Oh, so you two know each other? It has been too long, Grandma Hertz. And you as well, Miles Edgeworth.
What's she doing here?
Franziska Von Karma. She is the daughter of Manfred Von Karma and a prosecutor like myself. These days, she's mainly been working with Interpol, though I thought she was supposed to be abroad. Don't look so surprised. Where my investigations lead, I follow, no matter where in the world that might be.
Which means that there must be some kind of international angle to this case, yes?
You know full well that I've been pursuing a certain smuggling ring. And that I won't rest until it has been destroyed and its ill-gotten goods recovered.
So if a smuggling ring is involved then?
That information is to be shared on a need-to-know basis, and you don't need to know.
I see she means to be as helpful as ever.
Miss Von Karma, was it? Grandma wants to tell you something. I'm about done here. Scene's all yours.
In that case, we'd like to examine the body ourselves too, if you wouldn't mind.
I mind plenty. I remember where I heard about you now, you dang varmint. Don't need no soon-to-be ex-prosecutor messing the place up. Go on, get! Just remember it's not me saying this stuff, okay? Please, Granny. It's important. Who you calling a granny, little missy? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you.
This is going nowhere. I didn't want to have to do this, but... Franziska, I need you to add us to this investigation. We have to see that body up close or we'll never learn the truth about what happened to Kay.
As in Kay Faraday?
Please, you gotta help us out here. Kay needs us.
I don't know what you're up to, but very well.
Thank you. You won't regret it.
Of course, I expect to receive a full explanation when I grill you later.
We owe you, sir. Big time.
I wasn't talking to you, Scruffy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Grandma Hertz, will you allow them to examine the body? I ain't about to say no to an international big shot like yourself, huh? But are you sure about this? Yeah, I agree with Grandma. Are you sure you're sure? Of course I'm sure. It's my prerogative to judge the whole world in my name. That's just common sense.
Of the extremely arrogant sort, perhaps.
Suit yourself, but don't say I didn't warn ya. Well, you heard her. Try not to get fired, okay? Don't worry. It'll take a lot more than this to ruin my reputation should things turn sour.
Unlike me, who's on the verge of losing my badge. Now we begin the investigation. Part 2. Well, one thing's for certain. This isn't Kay. She doesn't even look like her.
I think we knew that already, Detective. Our Kay's standing right over there, after all.
The victim looks to be in her 30s. She's wearing a white suit. Maybe she worked in one of the offices here in the building.
Perhaps, but for now she remains unidentified. The question is, why did the police seem to think her name was Kay? I must scour the scene and inspect anything that catches my attention.
You think this could be the murder weapon?
A 3-armed candelabrum. The victim suffered the same number of puncture wounds to the chest.
Puncture wounds that could well have been made by these spikes? A candle album?
Not quite, Detective. A candelabrum. A candle holder, in other words.
Ah, I gotcha. It reminds me. I forgot to pay my electricity bill once a while back and I had to live by candlelight for a whole month. Who does that in this day and age?
Yeah, who does that? It doesn't look as if there's anything in the chest pocket.
Nothing except this hole right here.
By the look of how the fabric was torn, I think it was pierced by something sharp.
Can't keep your coins in there now. They all fall right out.
Have you never heard of a change purse, detective?
Sure have, sir. It's another word for a pocket, right?
I give up. A pure white jacket with a deep red stain on its lapel. This jacket, the buttons are on the wearer's right-hand side.
What's so weird about that? Buttons always go on the right, no?
Not on women's clothing. Traditionally, the buttons would be on the left.
Like I always say, sir, you sure you know your stuff?
This is common knowledge, detective. Nothing else seems amiss. Wait, what's this in the pocket?
A pair of gloves, also white.
They don't seem to be soiled in any way. I imagine they must have belonged to the victim.
Seems she suffered a serious burn to her hand at some point. You think it has something to do with how she died?
No, this scar's too old for that. I would imagine it happened some time ago. She's holding something. Detective, could you open her hand for me?
Yes, sir, right away. What is that? Wait, I know. It's a loyalty card, probably from a store. Shoutouts!
It's a key card.
Why, sir? Why?
The question we should be asking is, what does it open?
Yeah. Let's first do a little logic. Room security with the key card.
I would imagine that the victim's key card probably grants access to this room, wouldn't you?
Let me go find out, sir. I'm back. They found some details on that key card in the security system. It's for this room, just like you said.
So the victim was able to enter and exit this chamber freely. Assuming that the key card actually belonged to her, yes. Indeed. Now to continue the investigation. I must scour the scene and inspect anything that catches my attention. The victim's hair is caked with blood.
Looks like she was hit with something, huh?
Unfortunately, it's too early to say for certain. Perhaps an answer will turn up as we investigate further. Yeah, we already went through that.
This book? What the? That's Kay's promise notebook. It's where she wrote down all the promises she made to her dad. Haven't seen this in a while.
Indeed. Promise 1. A book of vows made by a child to her father. But what exactly is it doing here?
Oh, I just remembered something Detective Bad told me a few years back. He said something precious to Kay had disappeared from the station.
What? Evidence went missing from police custody?
Detective Bad said he looked for it everywhere, but no dice.
What could this mean? And why did it turn up here of all places? You there, what do we know about this notebook, officer?
The victim was holding it when they found her, sir. It was the only thing with any kind of name on it at the time.
So that's how she became Kay.
Talk about a red herring. Still doesn't explain how she ended up with it, though.
If only we had a few more leads on the victim's true identity. There's something pinned to the jacket here.
Piece of magenta fabric. Whatever it was, it looks like it was torn off pretty roughly.
Yeah, wait a sec!
Yep, the magenta flower.
Eureka! Judging by its appearance, I'd say that the flower Kay was carrying originally belonged to the victim.
Yeah, now that you mention it, it does look like it's made out of the same fabric.
Indeed. Let's make a closer comparison.
The torn edges match up exactly. You got one heck of an eye, sir.
Yes, indeed. If the flower belonged to the victim, this implies a connection between the victim and Kay Faraday. Furthermore, it appears that the flower was torn off with considerable force. Kay Faraday was involved in this incident somehow, and based on what we're seeing here, we may have no choice but to treat her as our main suspect.
What? There's no way she could have done this. I can't even begin to imagine it. There isn't a murderous bone in her body.
Nevertheless, we lack the evidence to disprove such an assertion. For the moment, we're simply considering all the possibilities. Isn't that right, Miles Edgeworth?
For better or worse, yes. Investigation complete. It seems we're no closer to discovering the identity of our victim.
Then, am I really Kay? Can you really be sure?
Of course we're sure. What are you talking about?
Thank you. And that person lying there is someone you may have murdered, but that's all we can say for now.
No! There's no way she did it! Isn't that right, sir? Indeed, I don't believe the Kay we know could have done something like this.
You're becoming a real softie, Miles Edgeworth.
Well, look who it is again! Ugh, I know that voice. With a winning smile and the #1 name in the business, it is I, Prosecutor Eustace Winner.
Please forgive the intrusion.
Step away from that body, Edgeworth. I didn't call for you, and I don't need you. This case is mine. It's what the victim would have wanted. You knew the victim.
So it really is her. But be not afraid, everyone, for the goddess of justice will guide us to the truth.
She sure will. Now that I'm here, everything's gonna be alright. Whoever did this will live to regret it. I'll show them.
Miles Edgeworth, who is this imbecile?
Why am I getting the death glare? I've got nothing to do with him.
Franziska von Karma, I presume. My apologies. I should have introduced myself sooner. Verity Gavel, at your service. And the deceased in this case is
Rosie Ringer, attorney at law, and a member of the Committee for Prosecutorial Excellence. I see. That would explain the key card. So you're the lead prosecutor? Yup, which means this case will be solved at... Aye!
You didn't tell me your name yet, little boy.
If you want to know my name, all you have to do is... Ow!
Stop babbling and tell me. Now!
It's Eustace. Eustace Winner. I think we've established where the balance of power lies in this particular room. Thank you, Franny.
Mr. Guy in charge? Here, this is from Grandma.
What's this? Oh, the preliminary findings. Looks like it's game over for you, Edgeworth. This isn't a game, Mr. Winner.
Alright, that's me done. See you next stiff. Yeah, home time. I can murder a bowl of noodles right about now. We're out of here, everybody. Stay healthy.
Let's see. So the wound on her head is from when she fell over after she died?
Eustace.
It was the candle holder that killed her, huh? And she died sometime late last night. What now, Gavel?
It's very kind of you to share the coroner's findings with everybody, Eustace. But perhaps you should leave it there. We wouldn't want you to strain your voice, after all.
No, that would be a tragedy. Anyway, that settles it. We need to arrest Kay Faraday. What? What the heck are you talking about?
I think Eustace's meaning was very clear. Miss Faraday is the murderer, and though she is dressed differently than usual, this young lady covered in bandages is Miss Faraday herself, correct?
You really mean to arrest her here and now? If you do, then I'll be forced to object, loudly and forcefully.
And as if further confirmation were needed, there it is. The committee was right to call your conduct into question. It is questionable in the extreme. Please, Mr. Edgeworth, just go. It's fine.
Fine? This is anything but fine, Kay.
I still don't remember anything. So, maybe I did do it. Maybe I killed that poor woman and I just don't remember. The goddess smiles on those who confess their sins. It is her wish that our confessions cleanse us. She applauds your commitment to the cause of justice, as do I.
Judge Gavel, Eustace, if you really intend to arrest Kay, could you at least explain your grounds for doing so? I, for one, certainly don't intend to yield. Not until I've seen some evidence to support your accusations.
Then allow me. Prepare to be hit with a face full of deductive genius, Edgeworth. Winner's argument. Why I think Kate did it. They call it the human race because somebody has to win it, and that somebody's me. I won this race too. I saw it before anybody else did. Kate Faraday is the murderer, no doubt about it. She snuck into the committee chamber looking to do some of her trademark great thieving, which means that nobody but her could have killed Rosie Ringer.
Deductive genius? That was a total mess. And if Detective Gumshoe is saying that, you know it must be bad. I asked you to explain your grounds for arresting Kay, yet you have explained exactly nothing.
True, but we haven't seen any proof of her innocence either.
It's alright, Kay. Mr. Edgeworth will pull off a miracle somehow. You just gotta believe in him. My deductions aren't acts of divine intervention, you know.
Well, Miles Edgeworth, I hate for you to disappoint me, but in the event that you do, I will be sure to freely let you know.
Yeah, now I'll take care of this clown.
They call it the human race because somebody has to win it, and that somebody's me. I won this race too. I saw it before anybody else did. Kate Faraday is the murderer, no doubt about it. She snuck into the committee chamber looking to do some of her trademark great thieving.
Eustace, you really are useless. Are you familiar with this room, Mr. Winner? It certainly sounds like you are.
What can I say? Winners know where winners go. I'm number 1, and 2, and 3.
In other words, the majority of your work is second, if not third. Right.
Why do you always have to make fun of me?
You can take it as a slight if you wish, but the fact remains that you seem unfamiliar with this keycard.
What do you take me for? Of course I'm familiar with it. You need one of those to get in here. Don't you? Have you no shame?
Whip.
Yee!
Mr. Winner, do you really even suspect Kay?
Of course I do. She did it. Faraday's the killer.
Then perhaps you can tell us how Kay got into such a secure room as this without a keycard.
See, well, see, you know, there was and she, yeah.
A masterful summary. Now, as we know, only members of the committee have keycards. Therefore, only they can enter.
Precisely.
Why is she agreeing with me?
Please take a look at this. I had security pull the data earlier. As you can see, the door to this room was open at 12:52 a.m. with Mr. Ringer's keycard.
We gained the records.
We cannot know for certain, of course, but who's to say the culprit didn't enter the room with Miss Ringer, and then kill her over some sort of subsequent disagreement?
It's certainly a plausible theory, but that's all it is. For one, it would require the victim and her murderer to have known one another. Yeah, and Kay didn't know the woman. I'm sure of it.
How can you possibly be sure of such a thing? That's pure speculation on your part, detective. There is no place for guesswork in the courtroom or at a crime scene. Hard evidence is what is required. In that case, are you suggesting that you have set hard evidence to support your theory? Evidence that Kay Faraday and Rosie Ringer knew one another? But of course.
What?
I have here a letter. Dr. Hertz found it in the victim's chest pocket.
Another of the victim's possessions? And you kept this to yourself until now? You planned for this, didn't you? Is that why?
It was the candle holder that killed her, huh? And she died sometime late last night. What now, Gavel? It's very kind of you to share the coroner's findings with everybody, Eustace. But perhaps you should leave it there. We wouldn't want you to strain your voice after all. Shall I read it for you? Rosie, thanks so much for agreeing to help with my plan. Now we can both get what we want. Good luck getting your revenge for what happened 12 years ago. K. This would seem to indicate pretty strongly that the two of them were accomplices, wouldn't you say? Accomplices in a plot to steal from the very room in which we are standing.
No!
Wait! So your principal suspect is Miss K. Faraday for this second crime, as well as Mr. Ringer's murder. I'm the principal suspect?
Don't listen to her. It's all lies. All of it. You're not like that. You never do any of the stuff they're accusing you of.
Then how do you explain the letter, Detective?
Unlike Mr. Winner, I suspected that Judge Gambit herself had some proof to support her accusation. But I didn't expect it to be quite so definitive.
Nicely done, Gambit. Thank you, Eustace.
Hold it!
We're not done here yet. I still have questions, and you better have answers.
Would you mind if I handle this, Eustace?
Be my guest! Have fun arguing Edgeworth into the ground.
I can't let them steamroller me on this. I have to find a way to take back the advantage.
Testimony. K's letter. As the letter more than adequately proves, Mr. Faraday and Miss Ringer were acquainted. It seems Mr. Faraday had asked for Mr. Ringer's help in a plot of some kind. But for whatever reason, their alliance must have broken down. Mr. Ringer lost her life in the resulting disagreement, but she had one last card to play. The letter she kept safe in her left chest pocket, which spells out the name of her killer.
She's good. Better than ever, even. Think you can take her down, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, of course.
Don't do this out of pride, Miles Edgeworth. If you're going to fail, do it on somebody else's time.
Hey, whose side are you on, sir?
There is only one side to be on, Scruffy. The side of the truth.
Uh-oh. Looks like the kid's got something to say.
Well, if there's only one side to be on, then it has to be on the winning.
Quiet, you.
My thoughts exactly. Yes. Winner's gone from prosecutor to whipping boy. Thank you, Franny.
As the letter more than adequately proves, Mr. Faraday and Miss Ringer were acquainted. It seems Miss Faraday had asked for Mr. Ringer's help in a plot of some kind, but for whatever reason their alliance must have broken down. Miss Ringer lost her life in the resulting disagreement, but she had one last card to play. The letter she kept safe in her left chest pocket, which spells out the name of her killer.
I don't know. Something about that just don't seem right.
So the victim kept the most vital clue of all closest to her heart. How very touching. The voices of the dead fight to be heard, and even then they don't always reach us. But her voice rang loud and true, and it told us that Miss Faraday is her killer.
I think you may have misheard her, Your Honor. Or perhaps an evil spirit was trying to mislead you.
Hey! You take that back!
Perhaps we should try listening to the words of the coroner's report instead. By all means, if I recall correctly, the victim was stabbed on her left side.
No!
Yes, I'm afraid so. You claimed the letter was found in the victim's left chest pocket. Right where she was stabbed by the candle holder. Indeed. 3 puncture wounds to the chest and yet not one to the letter. Miraculous, no? Well, Judge Gambit, how do you explain that? Because I can think of one explanation, that the letter was deliberately placed there after the fact in order to cast suspicion on Kay. Someone went to a lot of trouble to create the crime scene we see before us. And that someone is the real culprit who will most certainly also forged this letter.
No!
It's clear that the culprit intended to frame Kay by means of that letter. And you fell for it hook, line, and sinker.
Objection!
No! Faraday did it! The letter it was in her other pocket. Yeah.
Huh? Seriously?
The whole left chest pocket thing was a mistake. Whoever reported it must have meant their left. Yeah! Ow!
Stop your foolish floundering, you foolishly foolish fool!
Or are you just that incurably foolish? Why do you keep whipping me? And stop making fun of my deductions! Ah!
There, I saved you the trouble of disciplining him.
Yes, even though I had no intention of doing so. The letter is stained with blood, which suggests it had indeed been placed somewhere on her left side. Therefore, I doubt there was some sort of mistaken report. Not unless that report was given by you.
What? Gambit, say something! No objections? Good, then allow me to continue. So we have established the existence of a second suspect. No, we haven't. The murderer had to get in here, remember? Who else could have gotten in apart from Farday and Ringer? Whoever it was would have needed a key card. Judge Gabel proposed that the killer enter the room together with the victim. But what if there is something questionable about the very basis of her theory itself? This piece of evidence points to another suspect other than Kay Farday. The keycard record. Look again in the keycard record provided by Judge Gabel a short while ago. As already noted, the victim's keycard was used at 12:52 p.m. a.m. But you will note that someone else's keycard is also listed. A mystery person who could have entered beforehand and lay in wait for the victim, you mean? This other person entered at 10:15 p.m., so it's certainly not outside the realm of possibility. Except, I'm afraid it is.
And where's your evidence, Your Honor?
My evidence? I am the evidence detective. It was my keycard. There's nothing suspicious about a committee member entering the chamber as I please, is there? Perhaps not, but that's also not the exonerating evidence you seem to think it is. Unless you can also prove that you yourself didn't murder your colleague. What utter nonsense. What would I have had to gain from killing her?
Objection!
I am sure you know how I'm going to answer that, Your Honor. I believe further investigation will shed light on any motives you might have had. I am a faithful servant of the goddess. Why would I ever resort to an act of crime? I used my keycard, that much is true, but my reason for entering this room is far from questionable. Then perhaps you care to tell us why? I had business here in the committee chamber. There were certain preparations to make.
Preparations? Sounds pretty suspicious to me.
I am not at liberty to share what I was preparing for. But I am sure Prosecutor Edgeworth can make an educated guess. My hearing. She must have been busy gathering the documents they were going to use against me, to relieving me of my badge.
All right, children. That's enough. It's good to keep our skills and our tongues sharp, especially when we're young. But that'll do for now. Who in the... Really takes me back to the days of my youth. Back when I would wrangle with a certain detective. He disappeared, you know. I hope he's out there somewhere, living his best life. You'll have to forgive me. It's just, I get so emotional. The tears, I can't stop them.
Chairman Winner.
Winner. Verity, my girl. You ever stop working? Your dedication puts us all to shame. And is this young Francisca I see before me? Dear child, when did you get so big?
Uncle Winner, it's been far too long.
And so formal. I thought we were like family. You used to sit on my knee and shout, Uncle Winner, at the top of your little lungs. But time goes by so very fast. One can't help but shed a tear. Dad? What are you doing here? What am I doing here? A committee member has been murdered and you're in charge of the case, my boy. What is this? Bring your pops to work day?
Silence! Do you have any idea who he is? This man is practically the right hand of the goddess herself, a former chief prosecutor and the current chairman of the Committee for Prosecutorial Excellence.
Now, Verity. There's no need to bring all that up. I'm just a harmless old man, really.
Allow me to apologize for the detective's rudeness.
I am Miles Edgeworth, correct? And your little subordinate, Detective Gumshoe. I am Excelsius Winner, father to this idiot boy, among other things. My wife and I were so happy when he was born. And now she's gone too. Heaven only knows to where.
Dad, you're here? Use my handkerchief.
Thank you, son. You're a good boy, in your own silly way.
Like father, like son, I suppose. Though it's hard to say who's the bigger fool.
Well, Verity, how goes the investigation?
Thank you for asking, sir. We have identified a prime suspect, 1K Faraday. We are currently trying...
You don't have nearly enough to make her your prime suspect, and you know it! Or have you forgotten what we just discovered about the letter?
Objection!
I told you! That was just a mix-up! They got the wrong
Don't test my patience.
Alright, that's enough. Let's all just calm down, shall we?
I'm sorry you had to see that, sir. My humblest apologies.
I think you've all made your cases very clearly. All except for you, Eustace.
What? But, Dad! We are prosecutors, and it is our duty to identify suspects and bring them to justice. But I wouldn't dare call someone a suspect without evidence or a motive.
Please, Mr. Edgeworth, I know all about your relationship to the accused. Thick as thieves seems pretty apt, based on what I've heard. Kay's no criminal. She helped us catch the bad guys loads of times.
Much about this case is still unclear, sir. Please, you have to let us...
It's heartwarming, really. The bonds of friendship are so strong among the young. But, circumstances being what they are, I'm afraid those bonds won't be enough. What the heck's that supposed to mean? The prosecutor's office needs this case cleared up as quickly as possible. Time is so precious, and we have so little of it. And there are so many other cases. I'm sorry, but you understand, of course, don't you? Alright, Miss K. Faraday. Time to come along quietly.
Yes, sir.
You're not taking her! She's innocent, I tell you!
To defy the chairman of the committee is to defy the law itself. It is an act so brazen a hearing won't be necessary at all. Are you prepared for Mr. Edgeworth to lose his badge over this detective?
What? Yeah. So either Kay goes down, or Mr. Edgeworth loses his badge? What the heck am I supposed to do?
You'd use his badge to shield yourselves? Oh, how the committee too has fallen.
Kay, you're innocent. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
Thank you. We've only known each other for a short while, but you've been very kind. And I'm sorry. Sorry for being a criminal. Your contrition has been noted, Miss Faraday, and will be conveyed to the goddess of justice.
What in the world should I do? When I was little, all I wanted was to be like my father. To become an attorney and fight for those who can't fight for themselves. But now, my fate is tied to that of this one tiny badge. One tiny badge against the life of a dear acquaintance. Who am I kidding? There's nothing to weigh up here.
I guess this is it. Goodbye, Mr. Edgeworth.
Hold it!
Judge Gavell, a moment, please.
Yes? What is it? Your badge! What is the meaning of this?
I am returning it. From this day forth, I'm a prosecutor no longer.
Mr. Edgeworth! What are you doing? Miles Edgeworth, explain yourself right now! You're giving it all up? Just like that?
You can't mean it, sir! Tell me you're kidding! Please! If you're not a prosecutor anymore, then what does that make me?
I have one duty and one duty alone, to pursue the truth. If being a prosecutor means I must turn a blind eye to the very truth before me, then I will gladly shed the title to be free. I'll carve my own path, one I believe in. I won't let my search for the truth end here.
Objection! Are you running away from the Von Karma? From me?
Say what you will, Francisca. You won't change my mind. So you're leaving me behind again? I'll never forgive you for this! Never! No! No! This is all my fault! None of this would have happened if it wasn't for me.
Wait! Kay! Don't go! You stay right where you are, detective. But sir!
I'm not a prosecutor anymore.
Don't! Don't say that! Where you go, I go, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm always there, right by your side.
There's no need for you to do that now, detective. Simply focus on your job and do what you can.
Well now, this is no good, is it? We've let a dangerous criminal run free. I try and I try, and yet it's never enough.
There's no need to worry, sir. We'll set up a cordon. She won't get far.
She'd better not. I'll be very disappointed in you if she does.
This twist just blew me away. I swear to God. So yeah, we'll continue in the next. Believe me, this is not gonna take us long. If you enjoy it, please be sure to hit the like button. It means a lot. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and click the bell. I will see you then. This is MegamanNG signing off. Peace out. Product provided by Capcom.